Hey guys, Shane here, Oz Flight Simmer. Welcome to another episode of Test Drive. Now, if you haven't seen one of these before, this is where we take a scenery, an aircraft, a utility in different flight simulators, and we'll take it for a spin around the block, and I will give you my first impressions. In today's video, we are in X-Plane, and we're checking out Alabao's new release, the C-177 Cardinal 2. If you're not familiar with the 177, it was designed in the mid-60s when the engineers of Cessna were asked to create something futuristic to be the successor from the 1970s Cessna 172. The aircraft took a first flight in 1967 and went into production in 1968. They actually produced the aircraft right up to 1978 and produced a whopping amount of 4,295. Alabao's package comes with two variants of the 177, which is the B, which you can see here is the fixed gear variant, and also the RG, which is the retractable gear variant, which will be flying in today's test drive flight. The quality of the 3D modelling and texture work is pretty decent, although it's probably not the best that I've seen from Alabao in the past. You can see that they've taken effect in the use of the PBR technology that's in X-Plane, with all the material shines and finishes. The package also comes with a couple of static props such as cones or witches hats, chocks and pitot heat covers. There's 8 liveries in total and also a blank one, so you can go and paint your own aircraft to your heart is content. Alabao also claimed that the FPS has been optimized for the model and it should run pretty good in the sim. So with been saying that, we'll check out the menus that come with the 177 and then we'll jump in the cockpit and get the Cardinal into the air. The 177 comes with the traditional X-Plane menu for Carinata and Alabao sort of aircraft. So the first one is camera views. Comes pre-populated with a lot of different camera views. I'm using my own because I'm using X camera, and you can also adjust the sounds. You can go in the options menu where you can change things like window reflections. I've turned the reflections off because I thought they were a bit overdone in this aircraft. I've left the instrument reflections on. We'll take off the static elements here, and we'll close the baggage doors, but I noticed there's no sound when you close the doors on this aircraft, which was a little bit disappointing. So I'm not sure if I did something wrong there, but I couldn't find any sounds. And that's pretty much all the options in the menu. Welcome to the cockpit of the 177. I'm just going to cycle through some views. I have made these public on X camera if you like them. One thing that straight off the bat that I did notice is the textures on the inside of the aircraft don't seem to be as high res as some of the stuff on the outside. So we're just going to close the window there and I'll go through a quick pre-flight startup of the aircraft. So the first thing we are going to do is turn the fuel selector on to both, and then we're going to jump back up top. So the first thing we're going to do is turn the battery on, and one cool sound effect is you can hear the battery whine and the aircraft starting to come to life, but as well as some of the other things, as I turn on the beacon light and the nav light, you'll hear the normal clanks and clicks of all the switches. I really wish Carinata and Alabao would do some work in this area. We're going to put mixture to rich, and we're just going to crack the throttle, and we'll put the fuel pumps on, and we'll kick the engine over and get us started. There we go, as simple as that. As you can see, the engine noises aren't very loud in the cockpit, and they're pretty basic startup engine noises, nothing too dramatic there. But we'll just quickly jump to outside view so you can hear the engine as she's running on the exterior of the aircraft. We are all ready to taxi. I'm just about to release the brake and off we go. So we are in the GA area of Tullamarine Airport, which is Melbourne YMML. So we've got a short taxi out and we're going to take off runway 16 and then basically fly to the east. From there we are going to do some turns and a stall and just want to check out, see how this 177 actually flies. It is early morning, about 8 AM for the flight today, and the weather is perfect. As you can see from having a look at the front of the cockpit here, as you look on the left hand side and see the doors and things like that, you can see that there's the resolution of some of the texture work in the cockpit is not as high res as some of the other stuff that I've seen for Alabaya, which is a little bit disappointing, and I'll be honest with you, it threw me off guard to start off with, so I was a little bit disappointed, but the aircraft is really starting to grow on me. What we might do is we'll do a bit of a left and right and see how she behaves when she taxis. And the aircraft is slowing down, so it's performing what it should do when taxiing and doing sharp turns. So we'll increase the throttle a little bit, but very easy to taxi, as you would think with a single engine aircraft should be. So I'm going to continue taxiing the 177 to runway 16, and for you guys I'll come back to you as we're just holding at runway 16. Just configuring the remainder part of the lights here. We're going to be doing a no flaps takeoff. I found flying this aircraft pretty much only need to use the flaps to land, so we are squawking. So we're going to increase the throttle and pull out to a runway 16. So it'd be interesting to see how this aircraft goes down the center line and see if it's going to dart around like some X-plane aircraft do. So with in saying that, I'll come back to you just as we've got wheels up, so enjoy the takeoff. There we go, quite a nice easy rotation up, and yeah, it didn't really dart around too much on the runway. As for going down the runway off the center line, that was more me than the aircraft. We're going to pop the wheels up. I will say that Alabaya did a nice job with the undercarriage and also the flap noises of the 177. So we're going to make a left-hand turn shortly here, and we're going to head east and pretty much go up to about 5,000 or 6,000 feet, and then we're going to do some turns and some stalls and see how the aircraft flies. But as for takeoff, it's very responsive. It's quite a nice easy aircraft to fly, and you point it and it will fly the direction that you need to with any Cessna, so it's pretty good. So we'll continue our left hand turn here, and we'll jump to some cinematic views so you can see how she flies in the air and how she looks, and I'll come back to you shortly. to the cockpit of the 177. We're at our cruising altitude of 5,000 feet. So I thought I'd quickly show you around the cockpit. As you can see, I've got the dynamic reflections on the instruments. I'm not using the Reality XP GTN 750 today, just the original default GPS, but it is compatible for the GTN 750. Obviously, they're gone for the wear and tear look of the dark aqua color. And like I said before, the textures don't seem to be as high res as you've seen in some of the other Carenado / Alabao aircraft. So, but it's okay. It's growing on me, but pretty standard stuff for a Cessna aircraft. But for a quick look around, I think it's time to see how she flies. So let's do some turns and some stalls. So we're going to disengage the autopilot. I'm going to move the heading bug selector all the way to 240, so that'll give us a turn of 180. We'll make a left-hand turn. So the aim of this test is for me to see how easy to fly and keep under within 100 feet of our current altitude, which is 5,000 feet. So I'm going to begin my left-hand turn. I will say that the autopilot in this aircraft is pretty standard, and if you've flown Cessnas before with basic autopilots, you'll be able to pick it up no worries without even reading the manual. So let's see if I can make this turn just a little bit more steeper. But from the turns I've done in aircraft, it flies very, very nicely. Starting to lose some altitude now, so I'll just quickly correct that. I'm going to put it into a steeper turn by doing that. Now we're dropping more down. It's probably more my bad airmanship, and I'm going to fly over 240, so I'm going to have to correct. But we've pretty much stayed there within 100 feet. So we're going to level off now, and we'll begin a stall. And we're going to push the nose up, and then I'll start pulling back on the throttle. But one thing I do notice that it didn't really want to nose up too much as I was pulling back. It was pretty much fighting the whole way down. So we'll see if we get a shake and a bit of a wing dip as we stall. Must be getting close. There we go. Whoa, that was interesting. So we're going to gain speed, and we're going to get our heading and level out, and that was interesting. That was pretty fun. So we've pretty much dropped nearly 500 feet during that whole process. All in all, I actually like the flight mechanics of this aircraft and how smooth it is to fly for a small aircraft. So yeah, that's the part that's really growing on me. Anyways, we're going to continue. We're going to put the autopilot back on, and we're going to make our way back to Melbourne, and I'll come back to you as we approach, or making our final approach into a runway 16. Welcome back to the cockpit of the 177. We are on final for a runway 16 into YMML Melbourne. We've got a couple of notch flaps down already, and the gears are down, so I'm keen to see how she trims up for the approach in. I had a lot of fun flying the 177 back here. I did some more turns and some maneuvers, and it was a lot of fun to fly, which is quite interesting. So like I said, I'm pretty keen to see how she floats in down to the runway. This approach is interesting to land because you have this little cliff before the runway, so it can put you off if you're just doing a visual on the Pappies. But I'm just a little bit over, but I think we'll gain that back. So I'm going to be quiet now, and please enjoy the landing. Once we land, we'll throw a bit of a replay in and see how we go. But looks like we've got 2 white and 2 red there, so I'll talk to you soon. Big sink just at the end there. I just didn't have enough speed, but one thing I did notice, once you've got a couple of notch of flaps down and your gears down, this thing likes to sink like a brick, so you need to keep the power up a little bit. So we're going to clear the runway and I'll take you through a replay, and I'll come back to you with my final thoughts of the C177 from Alibeo. So my final thoughts on the C177 from Alibeo for X-Plane 11. The exterior is okay, not the best. I have seen better from these guys. The exterior, the textures could be a lot more higher quality on the cabin. The actual dash and the instruments are pretty good by themselves. As for sound, some of the engine sounds, the flap sounds, the gears, retractable sounds are all very nice. As a lot of Alibeo stuff, they use the same sort of clicks and clanks when it comes to switches, which can be approved. I did find that some of the animations, such as the windows and the doors, I couldn't hear any sound, so there needs to be some work in that. I guess my favorite part of this aircraft is that the flight mechanics of the aircraft felt pretty good. I had a lot of fun enjoying and flying the aircraft, and it's a unique aircraft. There's not many Cessnas out there that have retractable gears, and this package comes with both the B and the RG variants of the aircraft, which is a bonus. So for a price of $29.95, I would say, for me, I think it's value for money, but just over the line for value for money. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel and this is the first time you see the Ozflight Simmer videos, please hit that subscribe button for weekly content. And if you didn't know, we are on Discord now, so you can jump over there and check out the community and stay up to date with what I'm doing during the week. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers and have an awesome day.